Hi everyone, welcome to Go Classes. Many of you have attempted GATE 2023 and some of you are getting top 300 rank and some of you are getting top I can say 300 to 1200 rank. So if you are getting top 300 rank, then you will get a direct admission. Definitely you will get a direct MTech admission in some old IIT or IISc. But if you are getting a rank between 300 to 1200, then there is possibility of direct admission, direct MTech admission in some old IIT. But most of you, if your rank is, I can say that if your rank is between 400 to 1200, then you will have to go through interview. If you want to join old IIT, ISC, then you can join MTech research program. Some in ISC, we call it MTech research. In some institutes, in some IITs, they call it MTech RA. In some IITs, they call it MS. But the thing is same: MS, MTech RA, MTech research. Okay, basically these are different names of a similar course. Okay, so this is the research-based course, and the we will discuss basically what is the difference between MTech and MTech research. That difference also we will discuss. So today with us we have Abhishek Ghosh. He's right now currently he's in ISC. Okay, right now he is giving this interview from his hostel room in ISC Bangalore, and he's MTech research student in ISC Bangalore. He got 378 rank, GATE 378 rank in his third year. Okay, so let me also tell you about Abhishek that he's very popular on Stack Overflow, GATEOverflow, and also Telegram, WhatsApp. So for last 1 year he is not active, but before that he was very active and he was very popular among all the GATE aspirants. So welcome Abhishek, welcome to Go Classes, and thank you
Hi,
for
sir.
joining us for this interview.
Mhm.
So Abhishek, first let's start with your gate rank. So in third year, your gate rank was 378, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, what were you thinking? Like with 378 rank, you applied after your BTech, you applied for
Mhm.
MTech and MTech research. So
Yeah.
did you get MTech offers from some old IIT or ISC?
Yeah, I got MTech offers from almost all the Bangalore. Like if I remember, like I got
Your
off.
audio did not come actually.
Huh.
Your audio did
Hello,
not come. Hello.
hello, hello. Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Haha. So the thing is, I got mostly offers from all the IITs which I had means applied for. If I consider regarding direct MTech offers. So I got direct MTech offers from IIT Delhi. It was in computer technology. I got direct MTech offer from IIT Kanpur. It was regarding computers security, something like that. Uh, Normal computer science MTech from IIT Kharagpur. Then IIT means normal computer science MTech from IIT Guwahati, and also from IIT Hyderabad. And I don't think like I had applied for and IIT Roorkee also I had got
Okay, okay.
computer
So
science direct MTech.
that's great. So basically on 378 rank, you got computer science. I'm talking about the computer science MTech offers you got from IIT Roorkee, Kharagpur, Guwahati, Hyderabad. So these offers you got the computer science. In the computer science, you were getting MTech, direct MTech, without any interview,
Yeah.
without any written exam.
No. Mhm.
Okay, okay, that's great. So you also applied for basically finally you got admission in MTech research. You did not
Yeah.
take admission in MTech. So can we know the reason you were getting MTech admission in old IITs, direct and MTech admission you were getting, but still you went for ISC Bangalore MTech research in computer science department. So can you tell us
Yeah.
about?
Firstly, like I was uh, quite inclined towards doing research. I also had a talk with you, like you said that my analytical skills are nice, so I should like it is better that if I go for research. Sachin sir also said me the same thing, and during my fourth year preparation itself, Arjun Suresh sir, the founder of GATEOverflow, he had a personal chat with me, and he said like what are you interested in? I said that I find these areas interesting. At that point in time, I was quite inclined towards means the theory side. He said me that the way you are analyzing systems domain, like means problems from operating system and computer architecture, like might be your destination lies in computer systems, so have a look in that area. And what he said me is that uh, your place in IIS is fixed for MTech research. So what he said at that point in time, like gave me a lot of confidence. He said me that to means strive for that. He said me like my place in IISc Bangalore is fixed in that sense. And he only tried to means motivate me and said me to get a single digit rank in fourth year, but unfortunately it didn't happen due to health issues and all. But yeah, I was mostly inclined towards MTech research, and that too from IISc Bangalore. Like it was a kind of means do or die stuff for me. Like ye nahi to kuch nahi. It was something like that for me.
Yes,
Like
I remember.
mm,
I remember our conversation. So I myself told you that your analytical skills, basically the way you study, the way you approach the problems. I told you that you
mm,
should go for research-based course, either MTech RA in some old IIT or MTech research in IISc Bangalore. And the
mm,
same thing Sachin told you, the same thing Arjun Suresh sir told you. And I think all the people who have seen your answers on Stack Overflow, Gate Overflow, Telegram group, so on WhatsApp group, so all the students that have seen your answer, also your questions, they will definitely tell
mm,
you that you are made for, I can say, research based course. So
mm,
I think that is a great decision that you have taken. But actually, I just want to ask you this question directly here, and that is, most of the students they prefer MTech. Majority of the students
yeah.
they prefer MTech over MTech research,
Mhm,
and the
mhm.
reason they give, see, if you prefer MTech over MTech research, that is fine. But the false reason they give is that placement of MTech is better than placement of MTech research. So, can you tell us from your experience, what do you find? Placement of MTech versus placement of MTech research. Can you tell us?
Like if I say regarding the placements of MTech research, they are at par with uh, placements in MTech. While what I should say is getting a job in for after doing MTech research is much easier in some sense, because you are having a direct like very close contact with your professor, like the guide whom you are working under. So like it might be the case that like job or placements might not be it might be a trifle in some sense. Like they are so great professors out here. So like like getting a job after doing MTech research is much trivial than like getting a job after doing MTech. Like you need to sit for interviews and all. I don't think like I'm not sure, but I don't think we need to go through that amount of effort while sitting for placements and all, to sit for placements and all. Because I guess recommendations from professors and all help a lot in this domain. Because like see, if we consider the concept of MTech, you are like not like first let me just clarify one thing. Like for whom MTech research is actually dedicated to. Okay, if we see, MTech is a coursework where we like explore every domain, like be it systems, be it theory pool, or be it the intelligent systems pool. Now one like people who might not have any idea like what are they inclined to usually take MTech. They get a flavor and then also work on few theses and all, and then they get an idea like who in what direction they are inclined to. But in our case what happens is that the interview which we give is like we predetermine ourselves like what is the domain which we are inclined towards. Okay, so like since I am in systems, I gave my interview in systems as well, systems only, like questions were only from systems. So the courses which we take here, apart from the mathematical requirement and all, mostly they're system courses. The research work we do is also is also on systems. So like the domain which we are working on gets smaller, and as a result, like the exposure, like we are working on a smaller area in a much greater depth than like the MTech people might have, because the MTech coursework is in some sense hectic, because like you need to do a lot of courses here, like from each of the pool there are many pool requirements. I guess you need to do this amount of courses from this pool, and means of three of the pools. But for us there is no such uh, requirement. Like many of students might have an idea, like the ideology that they are not liking ML, or they are not liking theory. So but they do not have any option ultimately, because they need to do it as per the course curriculum is concerned. But for our case, it is not the case. We can take any course whatever we want, be it from systems or whatever. We do not have that hard and fast boundary on us. So like it is like MTech research in that sense is quite flexible. And since, as I said, we are like considered means confining ourselves in a smaller domain, and we are working at a much greater depth. So like we get a much specialized, like we get much specialized in a particular domain. So in that sense, I guess, based on the specialization, getting a job might be easier in in that sense. So we are means much sharper, means we have just sharpen our skills in a particular domain. So in that case, yeah, getting a job is easier in some sense for MTech research.
Right. Okay. So basically, actually, let me tell all the students who are targeting for IISc Computer Science Department MTech Research. So let me just tell you that in IISc there are three pools: theoretical pool, system pool, and intelligent system pool. So if you are a MTech student, then you have to take 10 courses, 10 or 11 courses you have to take. From each pool, at least two courses you have to take. So for example, if you are not interested in a theoretical pool, then also you have to take at least two courses from theoretical pool. Okay. Now coming to MTech research, if you are a MTech research student in IISc Bangalore Computer Science Department, then you only have to take, I think, four courses. I think four or five courses you have to take, and those courses also you will take uh, according to your choice. And in
Yeah,
the
there
yeah,
is no hard and fast
yes.
rule.
So in your favorite pool, you can select your favorite pool, your favorite area. In that area, you will take four or five courses. You will take. So basically, what will happen that in that particular area, your knowledge will be very good. In-depth knowledge you will have, and of course, because you have specialized knowledge of one area, so in that area, all the companies will prefer you. Like for example, Abhishek is doing his MTech research in systems pool. Okay, operating system, computer organization, something like that. So all the companies which are, I can say, system based companies like AMD and other companies which I can say which recruit the system based system area students, then they will prefer Abhishek over other students. Okay, because there are many companies which are, I can say, system based companies. Okay. Right. So Abhishek, can you tell us three or four companies, big companies, which prefer the system based pool?
Yeah, like we have Microsoft in some sense. Like Microsoft Research is there. So like means mainly works on the area of ML versus system, that cross section, and to some extent theory. It is a clustered up thing. So that is there, and many of uh, the lab people are also under that. Then we have Intel, then we have AMD, and many
And
more.
I think NVIDIA also
Yeah,
is
yeah.
yeah,
Ha.
right, right.
NVIDIA.
So there are many big companies, many popular big companies are there, which when they come to ISC, they will focus on system students. And if you are doing your MTech research in system area, then definitely they will prefer you over the MTech student, because MTech student is basically learning a lot of things, and MTech research students are learning small area but in depth. So that is the difference, width versus depth. That is the difference. And this is my final conclusion to all the students, that whether you go for MTech or MTech research, don't worry about placement. Whether you go for MTech or MTech research, do not worry about placement. You can decide like what you want to choose, that you can decide on based on other criteria, based on other factors. But please do not use placement as a factor while deciding for MTech or MTech research. So this one point actually I wanted to take, because this is very common doubt. Everyone is concerned about placements. So that is the reason I wanted to take this doubt right in front of this video. Okay. So Abhishek, next question I want to ask you. So you applied for MTech also. You got direct MTech
Hmm.
in some IITs, IIT Roorkee, IIT
Hmm.
Guwahati, IIT Kharagpur, but you also applied for MTech RA in IITs, also in IISc, right?
Yeah. I applied for them.
Okay, so how many interviews you gave? In which IIT you gave the interview?
Like my main, as I already said, like my main target was doing MTech research. Like I was mostly inclined towards research. So like I applied for, in the first place I applied for IISc Bangalore. So then I applied for IIT Bombay, then IIT Madras, the top institutions, top tier institutions, and then systems pool only. And then also I applied for IIT Hyderabad's MTech research course. But like the IIT Bombay took its interview long back before any other IITs took their interviews, and their results were even out with the first round of COAP. So like it gave me a bit of confidence, like I cracked IIT Bombay's interview, then there was IIT Madras's interview, and then I guess IISc's interview and IIT Madras's interview were kind of overlapping, like it means that their time slots were quite similar. uh, but they were taken on in online mode. And then also like when I got IISc's offer, I just rejected IIT Bombay. And also later I got an offer from IIT Madras as well. The professors there had called me up and said that, yeah, you are selected. I said that, sorry sir, I have taken IISc Bangalore.
Right. So you gave interview for IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, IISc Bangalore,
Mhm.
three institutes, right? Any
Yeah,
other
yeah.
institute? Any other?
Like I had applied for IIT Hyderabad, but after getting IISc, like I didn't
So
sit
you
for
did not
the.
appear for interview.
Yeah. It would
Okay.
it
So
would have created issues for others who are waiting. Like.
right. That's good
Mhm.
actually, because it would
Mhm.
I can say eat up one seat from IIT Hyderabad, maybe if you are selected. So maybe some
Yeah.
issue.
Like it takes time. Like what happens is that what I should also suggest to some people is that if you are sure of something, like if you have got a chance in a top tier institution and you are deciding, like you are sure that you want to join it, you have got your like best thing, what you want it for, select it and do not sit for other interviews. Because what happens is that like there might be people who are get of means having a higher rank in the sense, means higher rank, I guess you can understand. Like what happens is that there is a kind of frustration which works in them, okay, during that time. Like it happens that you get the call, but the people who are already hogging up IITs like IIT Bombay, IIScs and all, they also give the interviews just to see like how much they know or something like that. It is obvious that they shall be cracking it. So what happens is that these people, even though they do not want to get admitted to that IITs like IIT Hyderabad and all. So what happens is that they delay the process by means, and it creates a kind of extra tension to people who are there, like they are in the waiting list and so. So if these guys would have not given that interview for this IIT Hyderabad and other IITs, which are a bit lower than Madras and all, so what might happen is that the people who are in the waiting list might not even have to wait in the waiting list. So like that tension, that chaotic situation they go through, they won't be in that thing in some sense. So do this thing, it helps for others. Okay, in some sense.
That's actually really excellent point. So all the students who are listening to this should definitely consider this when you are applying for interviews. Once you get your favorite, like if you have decided that you will go to this institute, you have got your favorite institute, favorite course, everything you have gotten, then please leave all the other things. Please leave leave other institutes, other courses for other students. So that is excellent point, Abhishek. One more thing.
Hmm.
So let's come back to the interview experience. So
Yeah,
can you tell us all the three interviews, ISC, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, all three interviews were online for you?
yeah. No. Like IIT, IISc's interview was offline. Like it is
Okay.
IISc after all. It shall play different from every other institutions.
So
So,
ISC interview was offline. We will come back to
yeah.
that because we will discuss that
Hmm.
in detail. Before that,
Yeah.
let's focus on IIT Bombay and IIT Madras interview. Can you tell us what was your interview experience? It was online interview. What was your interview experience? How many professors were there? What was the environment? What type of questions they were shooting at you? So can you tell us?
Yeah. Sure. So let me start with IIT Bombay. So like IIT Bombay, like I I remember the environment which they created was very nice in some sense. So like in IIT Bombay, what happened is that before the interview selection, like getting shortlisted for the interview, they had an kind of written test, which also had to be given in online mode only. Like how it was to be given, it was in this manner. Like they had mentioned many subjects. Like suppose if I am going for systems, yeah, I had to select with a priori through some Google Forms or something like that, that I am going to go for MTech, MTech RA, and that too in not RA, MTech, MS by research. The name is MS by research. Okay, for IIT Bombay. Uh, for IIT Bombay, MTech RA is a different thing. I shall come to it later. The thing is, for MS by research in IIT Bombay, so what they did was they a priori held a meeting, like how there was this portal called Code Tantra and all. Using that, they conducted the examination. So how they did it was in the following manner. They gave up the syllabus, like detailed syllabus from where the questions shall be coming. Like you had to choose some pool or something like that. There was a minimum requirement of how many questions you need to solve. Like it was very clearly mentioned, like what you need to do and all. So I remember the I don't exactly remember how many questions were there, but I guess I needed to solve like questions total of 120. And I guess out of time pressure and all, I could only solve 110. Like I was sure, like whatever I have solved was correct. So like mostly there were questions from, like I went for the systems area. So the questions were from operating systems, computer architecture, compilers. So this, like if you are thorough with standard books, like the now the question comes now the MTech, MS by research, whatever this area of research, like they shall not test like what you know, like the easy gate related question stuffs they shall not ask. Like what I saw is that they required heavy knowledge of standard textbooks in detail. Like I guess anyone who is like familiar with Go classes, it shall be a piece of cake for them. But still, uh, like I saw that there were questions based on direct concepts regarding compilers from the Dragon Book of Ullman, and like operating systems questions were there. And then even for computer architecture there were other questions. But thing, the most important part which I felt like mentioning for IIT Bombay's interview is that like not interview, the written test, was that they also mentioned the textbook from where the questions they shall be making, and also the particular sections. Like it was like a cookbook sort of thing. If you're thorough, like if you give time, if you understand the thing properly, that's even they mentioned the sections from where they might be asking questions. So like if you're thorough with the thing, like you needed to select a sub part of it, and if you are done, I guess you, if you have good understanding, then you shall be like, you can easily crack the interview for means the entrance test for IIT Bombay. And I guess they had selected only 18 people from the entire 400 or how many applications were there for systems. And from there they selected, I guess, how many, 5 or 6 people based on like now coming to the interview part. Like the interview was also online mode. So the interview was in Teams. So like there were 3 professors. Like I guess I had mentioned, I don't remember, but I guess there was a Google form where they also gave the options, like during the online interview, what are the subjects from which you want to be questioned. Okay, so like I had chosen operating systems, I had chosen computer organization and architecture, and I had chosen compilers. So there were 3 professors in my during my interview. So yeah, like they were like in I for IIT Bombay, they were asking, like also in IIT Bombay, I remember they had asked like, is there any particular research paper which you had read in this particular systems domain, like with like some paper. So like I remember the like I had given the famous Unix operating system paper as my the paper which I had liked. So I remember the professor who was from the means OS subgroup, he asked me questions regarding many, like let me start from give a brief description of like how were the questions. Like he asked me like first he asked me like, you have mentioned about this paper, like what did you write, what did you like about this Unix operating system that you are so fond of it, like Unix, Linux and all. So he asked me a couple of questions like system calls and all. And then he asked me like a difference between what is the difference between a system call in uh, the I guess it was the difference between the fork system call and the create system call in Windows. Like fork is there in Unix or Linux based system, and Windows, like he asked me like what is the difference. And then he was mostly asking easy questions, I guess. And then they were based on like he was asking like, if we are doing fork, like what is the kind of optimization which could have been there. Then I said like copy on write could be a possible optimization. Then he asked me like, what is copy on write, please explain in detail, and something like that. Like the OS interview was nice in that sense. So then what he did was, if I remember, then there was questions from computer organization and architecture. There he asked me like, what is the need of having multi-level cache hierarchy, those kind of questions. Like they were also giving hints, like if you are if you are diverting from the mainstream, like they were giving hints like what to do, how to get to the answer. Like and then for compilers and all, they were just asking easy questions only, like regarding questions like they were giving saying like, what is a semantic error, what is the difference between semantic error, syntax error, something like this. So they were pretty easy. That was it, I guess. They were also asking to give examples of some kind of semantic error or logic, some kind of like the interview went pretty smooth in my case. And yeah, I got the offer from IIT Bombay after that. And that was it with IIT Bombay. Then I remember I also like I remember I also applied for IIT Delhi for its MTech MTech research, MS by research coursework. So I'm quite unfortunate because I was traveling to IISc Bangalore through via train. So what happened is that they had scheduled the online exam, uh, but during the time when I was traveling. So what happened is that I try like when you're traveling in train, so the network is quite fuzzy in some sense. So what happened is that I was giving the test. The questions were very nice. They were mostly programming based questions and few probability, like they were MCQ questions mostly, and few long programming questions. So what happened was that my net got disconnected once or twice, and then my examination was auto submitted. Like feel still regret that, but yeah, I then I reached I like I reached Bangalore, got into my lodge, and then on the very on that time only I was getting call from IIT Madras. I was on the road, like coming out of the station. They were saying like, are you ready, because we are sitting idle, like why not take your interview right now? I said no, no, wait, it is not yet. They Then they took my interview. I like IIT Madras, what they had is that even if you are going for systems pool, they also ask for some another domain, like what, like some backup, something kind of thing. Like if I remember, they asked me to like give first preference of systems, like first preference, second preference. For first preference I guess systems, and for the second preference I gave theory. So like I also like theory to some extent. So what happened is that the theory people, they called me up and said like, you have given first preference for systems, so why not as a warm up be done with the theory interview. I said okay, fine. So I just reached the lodge and then started the interview. I don't remember the questions regarding uh, theory, but they were mostly graph theory based questions, algorithm based questions. And like they were asking like, suppose there is a graph, min cut, max cut, something like that, and they were asking like, if this, so what shall happen, if not, then what shall happen. Like they were pretty easy questions. Like if you, like if you are even like unable to think like what to, means unable to understand like what to answer, you just try out, and they were just giving hints like how to proceed. So they were quite friendly in that manner. So then my interview for systems was scheduled late in the later half. So there also I had chosen my favorite subjects like computer organization and computer operating systems, and there was this basic programming stuff. So like I remember they had asked me a basic question of finding whether a string is a palindrome, means given two strings. I guess they were asking like whether one is a palindrome. No, no, not palindrome, I guess. Mm, permutation. Like they were asking, given two strings S1 and S2, like whether S1 is a permutation of S2 or not. So they like asked me to share the screen, and they were asking to like type the question, like type the program. And like in the first, like it was quite smooth in that manner. Like it was like, I can tell you, like you won't be able to give your best in the first shot, because there are many professors in front of you. They are just like one by one they were popping up. So it is not quite possible that you shall be giving the best kind of algorithm in the first. So what they said like, so this is the thing you have given, this is having a complexity, and can you improve it? uh, I said yeah, I am trying. Then I did. Then they said yeah, this is fine, but can you improve it further? I said yeah, give me some time. I did it. Then said that, can you improve it? Like after that the complexity was quite less. I don't remember exactly, but they said now it is fine. Then after that they started asking questions like, why you have used this, what is the thing which you have used, like etc etc. So that was fine. They said that we are done with the interview for the programming section. I remember like I was, when I was typing, I was mumbling few things like this int arr, like semicolon, like this I was saying. So like one thing which I also got to know from a few of the seniors in IISc before giving the interviews, they said that whenever you are doing something, just don't sit quietly, because they might feel that you are lost, you don't know anything, like you are blank out. Like whenever you are thinking something, think it aloud. Like in some sense you speak some buzzword loudly. Like even if you're thinking, like if you're thinking, if you have something at the back of your mind, like I want to use this algorithm, you just speak it, like I want to use this algorithm. If this is this having this complexity, why not use this? Like like they, that also matters, because they shall be able to understand like what are you thinking at that point in time, because they shall understand. Like if you're quiet and if you're mute and just don't do anything, and at the end you just type a program, they won't be able to understand like your thinking pattern, right? So what matters for MTech research and all is your analytical skills, like how you shall be able to solve a new innovative problem. It does not matter like in the first chance whether you get it wrong or right. The main thing is that whether you are able to correct it or not. So that is the thing. I got an idea from few of my seniors in IISc. They guided me like to think aloud. This was the means mantra, as they said. And then they were saying like I was mumbling. They said that is it you who is mumbling or somebody else is saying whispering it to you? I said no, I am only saying. So they said that okay, okay. Then they asked me the question. Anyways, like then there was my operating system interview. Like for my IIT Madras, the operating system interview went very nice. Like the questions were of good level. Like few questions were from gate level and stuff, and then he started asking like I saw the level and just started increasing it. And I remember like within that time slot, I remember the name of the professor who was interviewing me. He was Chester Chester Rebello of IIT Madras. He's quite famous. So he was asking the questions, and one by one, the professors were popping up. Like at the end, I saw there were like 12 or 13 professors in the whole screen. Like they were all listening to our interview and stuff. Like I remember, like I am happy that I didn't leave any of the question asked from operating system. At the end, he said that okay, fine, we can stop here. Like it went for like 1 hour 45, 1 hour 30 minutes or something like that. Apart from that programming test, so that how the interview for IIT Madras went. So I was quite motivated. Like no, I know the stuffs. And yeah, tomorrow, like the next day, I remember it was 24th of July, June, I guess. 24th of, I don't remember the date on me or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But it was 24th of some month, and I knew that next day I shall be heading towards IISc. So like I even had a talk with few of my seniors, like he's Nikhil Agarwal in IISc as well. So he said me like the first thing to do is when you get into the conference room, there is this conference room, right? The huge conference room. I don't remember the number, but there's a round table, there is big projector, there is LED TV and all. The other side there is a huge whiteboard, and you will see like 8 to 9 professors sitting in front of you. He said that the moment you lose your confidence there, you are done, the game is over for you. So like have confidence, they are friendly, just don't get nervous seeing them. It is, he said that it is quite possible that you would get nervous seeing those great heads in front of.
So, Abhishek, actually, let me just make one point clear. So, you told me that
Mhm.
in IIT Bombay, you gave one written test in which there were 120 questions. So,
No,
this
120, 120 marks. Like each
120
questions were
marks.
of like each questions were long questions, like they were written questions, like you need to explain like what is happening, whether it be from compiler or whatever. Like the questions were long questions. They carried like 10 marks, 12 marks, 15 marks or something like that. That like they were long questions.
Okay,
You
okay.
need to solve them, click the pictures and make PDF and upload to that code tantra platform. And it was remote proctored. Someone from some IT department were looking, was invigilating me remotely during that exam. It was
Okay,
long
okay.
question. Like we had to solve like 10 or 11. I guess each of the questions carried 10 marks or so, and I solved 11 questions during that time. And I guess the time was 3 hours.
So, so you said that before the written exam,
Hmm.
some document was provided to you, like which question they will ask, from which section they will ask. So, can you
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
us?
yeah.
Can you tell us the duration, like these questions, the written exam happened and this document was shared. What was the duration between them?
I don't remember exactly, but sufficient time was given. Like I remember, like April or like in the beginning of April, like 17th or something like that. During that time, the entire document was given out. Like you shall be having around 17 to 20 days of time in your hand.
Okay, to study, to revise those sections, those
Ha
particular
ha ha
sections you can go
ha
through.
ha.
You can go through those
Hmm.
standard books. Those sections you can study.
Mm-hmm. Like they
Then
also
after,
mentioned stuffs regarding MIPS assembly programming and all. There might have been questions regarding that, but yeah, that is also a good thing to have a look at.
okay, so after that, once this document came to you, after that, almost 20 days after that, you had the written exam, and once you
Mhm.
clear the written exam, then you got a call for interview, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
those students who cleared this written exam, they got call for interview.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and
Only
then
though.
yes, yes, right, right. So we are done with IIT Madras and IIT Bombay interview. Now let's get back to our IISc Bangalore interview. So yeah, please continue that.
Like I had a talk. He is a very good senior of ours. His name is Nikhil Agarwal. What he used to do is he used to post something on Facebook and all, and he used to conduct the mock interview during our time. Like he literally invested time on the future aspirants and used to ask questions. Like he was also from MTech research and that too from systems school. So that was a very nice bonding between us, and he gave me pointers like what to do, what not to do. He only told me like think aloud and not to get worried seeing those like 7 to 8 people of 7 to 8 professors in the panel is in the panel. Like they might be looking at you with their eyes wide open. Like don't be scared of looking at them. Like if you are scared and if you're nervous at the beginning, the game is out of your hand. Like the game is over there. So you need to be firm. Like you need to have faith on yourself. Like you give your best shot there. There is no point in getting nervous. Like it is your life deciding game. Like why be nervous? होता है, they say ना डर के आगे जीत है. So it is something
Right.
like that. So like I stepped in the interview room, and
So
there were like
Abhishek, before that, when you
uh-huh.
went to IISc,
Mm-hmm.
so during when you were filling the MTech research form of IISc, at that time,
Mm-hmm.
did you say that you are interested in system pool?
Nah, like what they did is during the form filling time, they did not mention like whether you are. There was no provision for whether you want to go for systems or whatever the pool. But few days before the interview was conducted, they shared a form, Google form, asking that this is something which you need to keep in mind. The thing is that now you need to choose your domain. Like you can choose only one domain, and also in that domain had to select two subjects from where you wanted you to be questioned from. Like I had chosen operating system and computer architecture and and then apart from that I guess programming was mandatory. So like you need to be thorough with programming. So if you are like many people had this confusion, like if you are going for systems interview, would they ask questions from probability stuffs? No, 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 they won't ask. Like if you are prepared with the systems, like they won't be asking questions from systems. Like they won't ask like which is your favorite mathematical area. Like many people, I don't know why many people are scared with mathematics and all. They ask like uh, would they ask questions from probability, would they ask questions from linear algebra, would they ask proofs? No, no, they won't ask those things. Like for CSA systems, they won't ask like that questions, but they might ask non-trivial, but in my case it was a bit trivial, but okay. They would ask questions like programming based questions. Like I would suggest they would ask questions regarding, first they would ask like what is your comfortable language. Okay, so my comfortable language is C. I don't like many people might say like why you like C, it has nothing, but C is one of the beasts. Like it has many drawbacks, it is close to machine architecture, and the most plus point in C is that C as language is very simple. Like they won't be able to ask you like language based questions in some manner. Like if you choose, suppose like there are many enthusiasts who shall say Java is my favorite language. If you say like that and suddenly if they ask some weird kind of question based on the internal structures of Java is very complicated in some manner. Like you have just in time compiler, many things are there. Now if like you need to like play smart, like keep your domain small so that the questions they throw at you, you are able to answer each and every of them. Like you need to like you don't need to be a hero there, you need to increase your chance of getting selected. That is the thing. Like if you say, like you can also say C++. Now if you say C++, there comes that standard template library, etc. Means overloading, like it is object oriented, right? So things get complicated. Now if they ask some weird kind of questions based on object oriented and stuff, and which you are not familiar with, because when you go to that object oriented paradigm, things get complicated to a great extent. So it is better if you stick to a simpler language, and I guess C is better. So I chose C. And they kind of asked me a very easy question, they asked me, like, given a binary tree, check whether it is a binary search tree or not. So in that point in time, like I didn't waste time in thinking. Like that was a bit of mistake which I did from my end. What I did is, like, I just started writing the code. And yeah, I also remember one thing. During the time they asked me to rub the board, okay, so they threw the question at me and they asked me to rub the board. Like while I was rubbing it very slowly, like neat and clean. And in the back of my mind I was thinking, like, how to, like, the code which I thought, like I was the approach which I thought, I was thinking, like, what are the subtleties which I might face, like what I might do. So what are then when the board was cleared, I took intentionally took a lot of time to rub the board, like 5 to 6 minutes or so. During that time I was thinking, and when I touched the pen and started writing, I was quite sure, like what I was writing, how I shall initialize the data structures and all, what shall be the recursive structure. And so they asked me, like, everything matters there, like the way you write the code, your style of using pointers and all. They understand, like, yeah, this guy knows how to program. It does not matter to them even if your logic is wrong. The main point, like my logic was a bit uh, there was some issue with the logic in the beginning. And then they said me, like, yeah, we have seen your code, it is fine. They also asked me, like, why are you using this pointer, how are you using this, like subtleties. They kept on asking something like that, and I answered them. They were quite happy. And then they said, like, they gave me a paper. So I was like, now I am giving a paper, okay. I knew that now there is some flaw, so it is okay. But I knew, like, what I had in the back of my mind is to try to figure it out, like where it is making the flaw and correcting it at the same time at that place. So like they gave me a bit of a sheet of paper and said, like, this is a test case. Now do you think it would run in your code? I could understand, like, where it was failing. I said that it would fail. They said that where in which portion of your code this shall fail. I said that here it should fail. They said that could you improve it? I said yes, I shall try my level best. Then I tried to improve it. Then they say asked about the time complexity. I said that yeah, it is happening in this manner. So they said that okay. And then they said that, oh, what you have done is fine, no issues, it is working. But the thing is, a better implementation exists. I tried to do it in a recursive manner. A better approach would have been to, like, traverse the entire uh, uh, search binary tree in order and check whether the sequence is sorted or not. Like, it is the best approach, but it did not occur to me at that point in time. It happens, like, in the heat of the moment, there are so many professors out there, it was not that easy. So, like, yeah, I was done with that programming stuff. Then they asked questions regarding cache and all. Like, they were all asking, like, analytical questions. They won't be, like, IISc won't be asking questions like what is this, like, questions you, like, they shall not check your the facts which, like, they won't ask, like, if what is this there in this processor or something like that. No, they won't ask something like that. They shall ask analytical questions, like, questions which you have never thought of before. And I can give a flavor, like they asked me a question like, give an example of a situation where even if you like there is, even if you are having cash, write a program that shall give 100% cash miss. So I gave the answer. Then they said, then he's my advisor currently right now. So he asked me the question like, so like, do you think there exists any kind of hardware structure where you which shall help in uh, means overcoming this? At the point he means they were like discussing, uh, like the other professors were asking him like, 100% cash means how is it possible, is a possibility, like don't you think it is possible? I said, he said, he was saying that yeah, if he knows the concept he shall be able to answer it, but there is one assumption which you need to say, otherwise I won't be accepting the answer. They were just mumbling these things within them. So like that is how. Then they said like, okay, you are having, suppose what is the hardware structure which you might introduce so that you can do away with this 100% miss rate? I said that there is this concept of prefetcher and all. Based on the code, it was, the answers would have been prefetcher. So I said that okay. Then he said that now you have a prefetcher. I said that okay. Now say how you will have 100% miss rate, write a program based on that. So like I said that I need to like confuse the prefetcher in some sense. Then he said how. Then I said that like, doing away with that constant stride, like prefetching is has a particular algorithm, so doing away with it. So that is how, like they shall be asking analytical questions like, then he asked me like, questions, if I'm not wrong, he asked what is the difference between a hazard and the dependency, like
Oh,
this is, it is a quite intriguing question. I said like, I gave the answer. They say that then he asked like, what are the hazards, like what are the hazards you know of this? He said like, then he said like, what kind of hazards you can remove by register renaming and all, like the answer was like, two dependencies cannot be removed by register renaming. So these were the like small questions, subtle questions, like but the answer lies like, it is not, you shall have a very good feeling like, if you are able to answer it, you shall be having a very nice feeling that yeah, you are able to answer. So that was the part for computer organization. And then came the part of operating systems. I don't know like whether I'm missing any questions or not, but yeah. Then he said like, you, you said that second choice is operating system. So I said yeah. So like, draw the virtual address space of a process. So I did, like I had read like operating, I liked operating system very much, so I even like it right now. So the thing is, I had gone through that step book, Galvin, Tannenbaum, so whatever operating system books are available there. And I also watched lectures which are available on YouTube from IIT Delhi of Saurabh Bansal. I watched that during my preparation. I also watched Mithili Bhutukuru's lecture from IIT Bombay, and also I watched Go Classes' lecture. So, so from there, I also looked into the code base of x86 operating system, and I was familiar with that. So, like I drew the virtual memory address space. So then the next question was asked like, why are you mapping that kernel region into the virtual address space? Like, what is the benefits and all? So there were questions like, what is like, for me the operating system question, like for very less time they were related to gate, and very soon they uplifted the level to some other level. So they could understand, like they understand, like if you are able to understand, like what shall happen is that if they say that you know the answer, they shall stop you in the between, then say that okay, okay, fine, next question. They understands that. Like they are quite experienced. So like next question, I remember they were asking like, if I am not wrong, the question was related to like, uh, the if he said like, what happens during a system call, like the entire picture. And he said that if you are familiar with any particular architecture, be it ARM or x86. It would be better if you stick to that, or if not, you can just explain it in an abstract manner. I said that no, I am familiar with x86, like the Intel architecture. So I said that yeah, I shall be able to do it with. I explained to him. Then his next question was that, like, suppose you are working in the user space, suddenly you try to address a pointer at the kernel level. So what happens, how are the things trapped? So where there is ring levels in x86 architecture, etc., etc. So like like many questions were there. Like my operating system interview went very nice. So it was that, like, they were asking about instructor interrupt descriptor table, global descriptor table, task state segment, this, like, many bootstrapping issues that usually occur in operating system. Like they were also saying, like, where is this mapping converted, like is it in hardware or software? I said that hardware. They said that, think again, is it hardware or software? They shall try to confuse you in the between. Then I said that no, it is hardware. Then his next question was, why do you think it is hardware, why not software? Then I said that this is the critical path. Now if during each uh, hardware, like physical, virtual address to physical address translation, if that page table work has to be done through the software, there shall be a huge penalty and all. The next questions were like, uh, the base address of the page table, whether it is a virtual address or a physical address, like why not? Like the usual answer was that, if you are using virtual address for page table, like who shall convert that virtual address? Like these questions, like they you shall, if you have the intuition, if you have the idea, you shall be thorough with it. So that is how my interview IISc went. So it was fine. I am happy that I didn't leave any question unanswered. I could answer whatever they had asked.
So that's actually great, Abhishek. Actually,
Huh.
when you were talking about that BST question, given a binary tree, is it BST or not? So for that,
Hello, your voice got cracked. Like it was
hello,
not there. Huh.
Abhishek, am I audible
Huh.
now?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes. So I am saying that regarding that binary search tree question, given a binary tree,
Mm-hmm.
is it BST or not? So you know that
Mm-hmm.
solution that just find the in order, and if it is
Mm-hmm.
sorted, if it is sorted, then it will be
Yeah.
binary.
Huh.
Actually, let me tell you just a simple thing. Let me tell you, many students they know that if you have a binary search tree, then in order will be sorted. This is known to many
Uh-huh.
students. Okay, this is a very, I can say, popular question in GATE
Mm-hmm.
exam, that if you have a binary search tree, then its in order will be sorted. But the other side is also true, and that is not known to many students. That this is if and
Acha, the
only.
if and only if stuff.
This is if
Yeah.
and only if. So if you have a binary tree, if its in order is sorted, then that binary tree is also binary search tree. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember why I remember this, because this is a Go classes test series question. So in the Go
Okay.
classes test series question, I gave two statements, S1, S2.
Mm-hmm.
The statement S1 was, BST implies in order. So if you have a BST, then the in order will be sorted. And
Mm-hmm.
another question was that if in order is sorted, then the tree is binary search tree. So this was Go classes test series question. That is the remember when you were talking about
Mm-hmm.
it, I remember that question. And also one more question that you were talking about, hazard versus dependency, and also register
Mm-hmm.
renaming. These are the concepts
Mm-hmm.
that many students they do not understand. That
Mm-hmm.
what is the difference between data dependency and data hazard. So that is also taught in Go classes. Entire 2 hour lecture is dedicated to data dependency versus data hazard. How to find data hazard, how to find data dependency. Okay, which data dependency is never data hazard. So these type of questions
Mm-hmm.
basically are already taken in Go classes, this computer organization course, and these videos are available on the Go classes YouTube channel. The complete pipeline lectures actually. they
Hmm.
are available
Yeah,
for
they shall not only ask like as you were mentioning, they shall not only ask, as you said that you have mentioned, you have discussed in Go classes, like regarding how the thing is done. Like they shall not only just ask, like mention that after each of your statement they shall say that, do you know an example? If you know, please write it on the board. You have the field empty. So like it is better if you use your marker board and all and try your level best to do.
right. So
So
so that's your IISc interview. Like it sounds really
mhm,
interesting. Actually, from
mhm,
your interview experience, I am finding that IIT Hyderabad interview, IIT Madras interview was really complicated because you are saying that there was I think 1.5 hour interview of operating system courses,
mhm,
plus there was another programming test. So I think
mhm.
almost 3 hour interview you had, right?
No, no, no. Like programming thing was very easy. Like it took me 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so.
Okay,
And for IIS's interview, it went for like 1 hour 45 minutes to 1 hour, like 1 hour 40. Like it almost went for 2 hours. Like
okay,
I was the last one. I was the last one, I remember. Like they were having some, like one of my friends who is also there in MTech research right now, his interview was over. Like I remember what question he was asked, like implement AV, like AVL tree, AVL tree, entire AVL tree code was asked to him. Like
okay.
during coding he said that yeah, it was a bit non-trivial to him. Then he went, I was just a bit scared. I was remembering like how to do the left rotation, right rotations, those codes, because AVL tree rotation and all, like during gate we are familiar to do the things in pen and paper, but writing the code is not that easy. Like left rotation, right rotation, it is not that easy in some sense. Then like there was a bit of time, they like my advisor right now, he said like, we are, please wait, we shall be taking your interview a bit later. So my interview started from like 3 or 3:10, and it went till 5:10 or 5:15. Like it was completely, they were taking the interview. I was the last person and they were on
So
for that day.
after the interview, after how many days you got to know about that you are selected in ISC?
It was, I don't remember. It was 10th July, I guess. 10th June, I guess. I don't remember the date exactly.
Okay.
10th June. Okay, yeah, 10th June, I guess.
So Abhishek, let me take some questions which students are asking.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just take those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, the first question is what is coursework different for MTech and MTech RA? So that we have discussed. So basically, the question is asking MTech versus MTech research, how they are different in terms of coursework. So that we have already seen that in IISc, if you are an MTech student, then there will be 10 or 11 courses total you have to take in 4 semesters. And if you are a MTech research student, then Abhishek, can you tell me how many courses you have to take?
Like we, like for, I am telling, like in IISc, what happens is that each of the courses which you are taking is having a credit of 4. Okay. So for the coursework guys, they need to complete a credit requirement of, I guess, 42. That adds up to 10 or 11 courses in total. So like there is pool requirement for each, from each pool, I guess you need to take 2 courses mandatorily. Like there is pool A, pool B, and pool C. Pool A stands for theory, pool B is systems, and pool C is intelligent systems. So you need to do that thing, and rest you can do it on your own. And there is people also write theses and all, so it also carries credit in some sense. And for MTech research, what happens is that you have a credit requirement of just 12, because most of your time should be devoted towards doing research, learning how to do research, how to hunt problem statements and all. Like it requires a considerable amount of time. During, usually what happens is that the people who come in IISc for like the first 6 months, like the first semester, they take up like 3 courses. Like there is this mandatory mathematical requirement where you need to choose either a math course or some probability or linear algebra course, like their math course, even they are offered by the systems, like systems, ML systems, like ML pool, like AI intelligence systems pool, even they are apply means offered from there. They are considered as math courses. You can take courses from like mathematics department. There is mathematics department, or you can quite easily take courses from the theory pool. I took algorithm, so it was an easy thing for me in that manner. And rest you can choose as per your wish. I took two courses apart from that. So like 12 credit points is mandatory to be fulfilled for MTech research, guys. So there, then it is done. Then you need to focus on your research, and research is not that easy. So you need to work on it. You need to read research papers. Like you need to learn how to read research papers, how to think while reading research papers, and all that shall come automatically. You can discuss with the lab guys and your advisors.
Right. So you took three courses, basically total 12 credit requirement you have to complete. And so if you take three courses of four credit, then that is done. The course
Yeah.
requirement is. So you took three courses of four
Mhm.
credit each in first semester.
Mhm. Yeah.
You did that. Okay. So in
Yeah.
first semester, your coursework was done.
Yeah, my coursework is done. So
Okay.
now I am
Now you are in
focusing
which
on
semester?
research. I am in
Now
second semester.
you are in second semester, right? Okay. So now what you are doing basically after first semester, your coursework is done, your 12 credit requirement is done. Now from second semester onwards, what are you doing? Like all
Like
the time, what you are doing?
the our problem is my guide asked me to go through like he said that these are the areas where he needs to work in. He asked me to hunt for problem statement. That is the most important thing as an MTech research. Like in IISc, what MTech research is, it is like a mini PhD. So like you need to hunt for a problem statement, do literature survey and all. So and on top of that, I am working on few of the seniors project. So it shall give me a warm up, like how to, like if I am involved in the meetings and all, he's like I shall be getting an idea like how to do the research. That is what my professor said, my guide said. And apart from that, I was also into operating system. I don't know like how much I shall be able to continue with that, because my research work is getting heavier in some sense. So my credit requirement is done. So out of passion, I took operating systems. So like even in IISc, like doing operating system stuffs is not that easy. It is not like just reading, doing such. They really need to ask. They shall ask to look into the Linux code base and make some more modifications and all. So those are the assignments given in IISc. So yeah, that is what I have been doing currently.
So Abhishek, what suggestion you will give to those students who are getting a rank between, I can say, 400 to 1000? Those students basically have a very good chance of going to old IIT ISC Bangalore, but not in the MTech course. They can easily go to the MTech research course. So they have to go through the interview, as you have gone through interview of IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, IISc
Mhm.
Bangalore. So what suggestion you will give to them finally from your side? uh like please.
Yeah, sure. So the thing which I should would say is that first of all, they need to be sure like with like you in all the IITs whatever they are offering systems pool, theory pool, and intelligence systems pool. They need to see like what is suiting them. Like for me, the game changing plan was played by Arjun sir in my life. He said me like, you have interest towards system, explore that pool, explore that domain, and see whether you are liking it or not. And that is how I felt like I decided, nah, I am a systems guy. So that you need to understand, like for research, you once you choose the domain, you shall not be having the opportunity of changing it. So once you need to see that whether you like theory, whether you like systems, whether you like intelligence systems. So you need to look into it, like what is it, whether it is interesting you or not, what are the like the areas where research are being done. You need to look into that area. Okay, so I would suggest, uh, like once you are thorough with, like even for it is high time that you know like where in which domain you need to go, because based on that you need to start preparing for your interviews, these written tests and everything, and it won't happen in one day. So I would suggest every aspirants to have a look, like what is the domain, what is that area where they are destined for, like what is their destiny. And I would also suggest is that many of my like many I had personal experience with few of my close friends, so I suggested them like go for this, fill up this form, do this, do that. They were just sitting idly and they said like, what if I don't get? If you do not even run for the race, what is the point in thinking that you won't succeed? Like first run for the race, even if you lose, so you won't repent thinking that you didn't run for the race. So first thing you need to do is run for the race. This amount application amount, like what I should say is that, like later on those of my friends said like it was like their like gate score was more than 700, like between 700 and 720 in that range. So ultimately what I saw is that in the end IIT Kharagpur's last cutoff was 705 or something like that. They would have easily got that, but then they said that it was my fate, we couldn't make it because it was my, that is nothing like that. So it is a game changing plan. Okay, so that many people, I don't know why they think that my application fee shall be wasted, like 800 or whatever. So they say they feel that my application fee shall be wasted. Why do that? See, if you invest 800 or 900, it can be a game changing thing in your life. So why not just go for it? What is the harm? You might be watching movies here, you might be going to restaurant there. Please don't, for 1 or 2 months. You just save the money, give it a shot. If it doesn't come, no, like there is no harm. Like what you shall lose? You have nothing to lose. But if you fill the form, get the offer, you get selected, you have something to gain. So that is the thing. Give it a try, give it a shot. What is the point? You shall not lose anything. Like that 800 rupees, 900 rupees won't matter at the end. You shall be achieving that level of success. It is just one application. That is what I wanted to say. Don't have second thoughts. Just go for it.
That's really great, Abhishek. So a lot of things
Mhm.
we have seen in this interview, and
Mhm.
let me just give my final conclusion to all the students
Mhm.
that if you are confused between MTech or MTech research, then
Mhm.
if you are getting MTech opportunity, then go for it. Okay, if you are getting like in old IIT or IISc Bangalore, if you are getting MTech course, then go for it because you are already confused between MTech research. This confusion you have. And you are getting MTech direct admission, you are getting in IIT, IISc Bangalore, then go for it, no problem. But consider MTech research also. If you are either you are interested in MTech research, then go for it. Or if your rank is between 400 to 1000, then the best opportunity is MTech research, MTech RA, MS by research. So these courses provided by old IIT or IISc, these are best courses, so please go for them. Okay, so don't worry about placement. The placement will be same or actually better for MTech research. If you have in-depth knowledge, if you have specialized knowledge, then your placement will be better than the MTech people. So don't keep this placement as a factor when you are deciding for MTech or MTech research. Just go for it. MTech research will give you a lot of knowledge. It is like a mini PhD. It will give you a lot of opportunities. Either in academics, you can go for PhD, or in the companies. Many research-based companies, they will hire you, they will give you priority over MTech. So this is the complete conclusion, Abhishek. Now we can
Like
terminate.
I wanted
Yes,
to add one more thing. I guess the meeting shall end very soon, but still,
yes.
like the thing is, I
You
was
please
also
say. I'm connecting my laptop to charger. You please say.
okay. The thing is, what I feel, what I saw many people's asking me is that I am getting an opportunity to do MTech or MTech research, whatever, from an institution which is close to my home. But like they are also getting offers, say from like top tier institutions, but they are not going to that based on the fact that they want to remain close to their home. Don't be biased towards those things. It would be better if you like those things ultimately do not matter. Like ultimately what matters is that your quality which you are aiming for. So the last point which I wanted to mention here is that before closing, the thing is, most of the people, few people were asking me doubts, and I also saw on Facebook and all, they were just making like saying, asking doubts like if they are getting offer from an IIT which is closer to their home. So they were saying that would they go for that IIT or leave IIT Bombay's offer, something like that. So please do not play trifle with your life, okay? So this is what I want to say. So like it is okay, like you can, but what ultimately matters is your life, okay? So remaining close to home is not a factor like which shall be important in your life. So making a good knowledgeable decision is what makes you like helps you proceed progress in your life. So it is kind of foolish in some sense to like say that I want to be in an institution that is near to my house. I won't name any institutions, but yeah, you can well understand like IIT Bombay, IISc. You shouldn't leave those kind of offers and stay uh, in your home state or in your home state and go for an institution there. So this is what I wanted to say and close the meeting. So it is not
Right.
worth
So
it.
So
So
yeah, this is a very common doubt actually. Many students they say that in my city, in my state, there is this IIT. So should I leave IIT Bombay, IISc Bangalore because this particular IIT is in my state. So yeah, that is a very common I can say confusion among students. And I also always suggest them that go for the best one. Okay,
yeah,
you go for the best opportunity that you have. Don't worry about homesickness, don't worry about all these things. These things do not matter in the long run for your future. You will definitely regret leaving some best opportunity. Like for example, if you are leaving IIT Bombay for some I can say for some uh, I can say new IIT, which is in your state, or maybe for some I can say lower ranked IIT than IIT Bombay, because IIT Bombay is very highly ranked. So if you are leaving it for some other IIT which is not I can say as compared to IIT Bombay, which is not as highly ranked, then that is I can say that in long run you will regret that decision, right?
like there is a word from Three Idiots, right? उस दिन अगर हिम्मत किया होता, अगर
Right,
कर
right,
लिया होता, तो वही the ultimately what happens is that you need to take each and every decision in your life wisely. Like there is no turning back in your life. Once you have taken the decision, you need to go for it.
right.
So
Even
that is
see,
it.
normally old IITs all are very great, but even among the old IITs also there is a ordering. So
Yeah, even greatest among greatest.
yes, greatest among greatest. That's
Uh-huh.
right. So basically,
Hmm.
among all the greatest, these IITs, old IITs are I can say very great, or each of them. But
Hmm.
among them also there are some I can say better than other. So you should go for the
Hmm.
best opportunity that you are getting.
Yeah. Hmm.
So Abhishek, it was very nice interview, and thank you for sharing your interview experience of IIT Madras, Bombay, IISc Bangalore. So in detail, you have shared your interview experience that will definitely help a lot of students. So
Hmm.
thank you for joining this session.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, so before going, let me just tell all the students that Abhishek is Go Classes GATE 2023 course student, and
20,
for
not
1 year,
2023.
GATE 2020,
2020,
GATE 2020,
2022.
GATE 2022
Yeah.
student, right, right, okay. So GATE 2022 student, and for 1 year, basically, we had a lot of nice conversations, a nice discussion on the GATEOverflow, on the Go Classes private group. So, Abhishek, are you like in that Go Classes private group? You are still there, or have you left?
No, no, I am still there.
Okay, you are still there. Okay. So, thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much, and
Yeah,
yeah, it will definitely help many students. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Welcome, sir.